Well, Chelsea Football Club have banned their own captain for 2 games, not for a red card, not for a fight, but for this interview. These are the exact words that cross the line for Enzo Fernández and for Chelsea Football Club. You understand? The first thing we are going to be talking about is Enzo Fernández being the vice captain and an acting leader. We're then going to move into Chelsea struggling with a pressure that is already high, and then he gives an interview that changes everything. You get me? That is where situations absolutely get a bit too much. You understand? Because one thing is for sure, we know Enzo Fernandez is the face of this blue coal ownership. He is the first person that they splashed around 150 million, if I'm not mistaken, to get him from Benfica after the World Cup winning performance that he did during the World Cup that gave Argentina their first World Cup in a long time. And then Chelsea went on to win some really good trophies like the Club World Cup, like the Conference League. And in my head, every single person was like, oh, things are going very well with Maresca. Maresca is doing the things that he needs to do, even without the support or the support when it comes to giving him more power as the manager, because he has shown you that he has all the things that it takes to be a manager and not just the head coach. But what happened? They fired him. They brought in Liam Rosinho. You understand? They brought in Liam Rosinho, and now the players that are in the club, the faces of the club, are now starting to grumble. You saw the interview from Kukureya, and then you also saw the interview from Enzo Fernandez. That right there should be a red flag, a big giant red flag for Chelsea to realize that his players are not happy. But guess what? They absolutely took it a further step by suspending Enzo Fernández, their captain, for 2 games. And the games is, of course, going to be against Port Vale and then going to be a big game against Manchester City. That is absolutely insane. Now, the key part about this situation is that they can't take it back. They have already announced it. Liam Rosinho has confirmed already. But the first quote that I want to say in this situation is, I will look at my options after the World Cup. Now, in this situation, this sounds normal. You understand? This sounds normal, but not when you are a captain of Chelsea Football Club. Because what he said in that situation is that I want to leave, or I'm going to look to leave after the World Cup. That right there is not what you want from your captain. Not in this particular time anyway. You understand? Not in the time where Chelsea are struggling. Not in the time where people are looking for Chelsea's leaders to step up. The signals that statement or what that sentence gave to Chelsea fans and Chelsea owners and Chelsea manager is that I might leave. Now, the public doubt in this situation is that the dressing room impact is where things are going to get really tricky. Now, the situation in this focus in this particular statement is that it might be a kick up the backside for the owners to absolutely give these players experienced footballers that can allow Chelsea go on to win the Premier League. Now, the key part about this situation, and I've kept saying this because people do not believe when I say this, Chelsea are maybe 3 to 4 experienced players away from challenging for the title. They are that good, to be honest with you. But they keep on trying to put in young talent upon young talent upon young talent. They stockpile players. And like this talk show host would say, for the most part, it's not a project. It's just them. If you're a good player, you stay. If you're not a good player, you leave. They are just trading players like they're trading cards. And that is where things are getting a little bit difficult. You understand? Another second quote that Enzo Maresca said, he says, Madrid feels like home. The key thing that he said is that they asked him, where would you like to live? He said, I would like to live in Madrid because Madrid feels like Buenos Aires. If you did not know, Enzo Maresca comes from Argentina. Buenos Aires is the city in Argentina. And he just compared Madrid, aka Real Madrid, as a city that feels like home, as a city that is, the weather is just like the place that he comes from. And you see where that crossed the line. That was the word, that was the quote that crossed the line for Chelsea. You understand? That was a direct emotional connection to another club and another city. That is the reason why he's getting this ban today. Fans plus teammates. Here, I'm already gone mentally. That is what they hear. Now, the situation about this is that they might ban him for 2 games, and Chelsea might go on to win the next 2 games, and he will come back motivated. But the other side of that coin is that they go on to lose 2 games, and he's coming back extra frustrated. And that's where you lose your captain. That's where you lose Enzo Fernández. That is where Enzo Fernández will go into the summer absolutely knocking on the door that he wants to leave. And that was not just it. Because there was a third quote. I don't know what will happen next season. That's another one. You understand? Not a one-off comment for sure. Repeatedly, uncertainty is a problem when you have a captain that is the one stating it. This builds up a narrative that he is not committed to the cause of Chelsea. And that is where problems started. Because what happens next is that Chelsea reacted. The manager's response, which is Liam Rosenior, he says, a line was crossed. Those comments were disappointing. This is not just PR talk in this situation. This is an internal message. Its standards matter for Chelsea. Because I'm definitely sure that the owners have told Liam Rosenior, you need to do something about what Enzo Fernández had said. And this is the best thing that he could do. He could have said, I'm going to give him a 1-game suspension, but then everybody would look at it and be like, you're giving him a 1-game suspension against Port Vale. Chelsea can win without him. But then he added another one, which makes it another game suspension against Manchester City. A bigger game. A game that they need Enzo Fernández. That's where problems also lies. Because now the punishment that we sit is dropped for 2 games. He's going to miss the FA Cup quarterfinal against Port Vale, like I said. A Premier League game against Manchester City. This is big. It's not rotation. It's not tactical. It's disciplinary. You understand? It is a disciplinary act. Now, the reason is because it's not just about Real Madrid. It's about saying it publicly. It's about saying it as a captain. It's about saying it during a crisis. That 3 combination is unacceptable at a top club. Now you can talk about, Cucurella said some things too. Cucurella, the owners for how they managed the Enzo Maresca situation. But Cucurella never walked the line or never beat the drum on the head so many times like Enzo did. Because yes, he did talk about Barcelona, and he did talk about if he was going to leave, but or if any situation had come up where Barcelona wanted his services, he would not turn them down. However, he did not say that he loved the city of Barcelona. He loved to leave the city of Barcelona, and also he is not the captain of Chelsea. Also, yes, he's a veteran leader, but Cucurella has 2 years on his contract left. For Enzo Fernández, we are looking at until 2031. He has 4 years on his contract. So if Chelsea doesn't want to let him go, they won't let him go. You would have to cough out £150 million for Enzo Fernández to leave Chelsea if Chelsea were going to let him go. And Real Madrid is not coughing that out for anybody right now. Let me know what you guys think about this. But my final take in this situation is that players think it all the time, but leaders don't say it. They think about where they need to go, where they want to go, how they want to go. You think about the likes of Moises Caicedo. They asked Moises Caicedo. Moises can go wherever he wants to go. Every team needs a Moises Caicedo. But he said he is going to stay at Chelsea and he wants to be a legend at Chelsea. Now, he can turn around in the summer and leave, but he does not disgrace Chelsea publicly. Enzo Fernández didn't get punished for wanting Real Madrid. He got punished for letting Chelsea know. Let me know what you guys think about this down in the comment. Make sure you guys hit that like button. And of course, let me ask you a question. Should Chelsea have punished him, or is this an overreaction? And if Real Madrid actually call, do you sell him? That's the question. Let me know in the comments. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit the follow button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.